Gaura Chandra Bole Jigado Gaura Chandra Kota Nidra Jayo Maya Tisa Sira Kole Kota Nidra Jayo Maya Kota Nidra Jayo Maya Tisa Sira Kole Kota Nidra Jayo Maya Bhajibo Bolia Ese Samsara Bitore Bhajibo Bolia Bhajibo Bolia Ese Samsara Bitore Bolia Rohile Tume Adijara Bore Bolia Rohile Bolia Rohile Tume Adijara Bore Amen. Hainu avastara tamare tamare loite amen. Hainu avastara Sadi Maya Nasibaro Ladi Meneki Sadi Meneki Sadi Maya Nasibaro Ladi Harinama Mahamantra Nautumi Mahadi Harinama Mahamantra Harinama Mahamantra Nautumi Mahadi Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu Charane Pariya, Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu Charane Pariya, Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu Charane Pariya, Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu Say Hare Nama Mantra Laila Madhya, Say Hare Nama Mantra Laila Madhya, Say Hare Nama Mantra Laila Madhya, Laila Madhya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Gauranika, 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 Jaya Gauranika, 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 Jaya Gauranika, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari, Hello Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Girivara Dhari Yasodhanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajadana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanamchari Jamuna Tira Vanamchari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Girivara Dhari Yasodhanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajadana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanamchari Jamuna Tira Vanamchari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, bolo. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaur Pinandi. Dayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Rajgashaja Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Shiravaye Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandi Biti Founder Charya's Divine Grace Sri Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Janita Gauda Pimanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada Ki. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Sarakaya Taksurandaritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Darati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaisnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Swam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Srivisakanditamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Dharam Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhaviti Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed and practically to nil, and the loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttamashloka Charitam Sakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swastyaya Namaha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Mukam karoti bhajanam pangum langayate girim yadkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Yadkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning Bhagavatam class. Continuing, canto number 1, chapter 8. Prayers by Queen Kunti. And today is text 33. Whoops. 33. apare vasudevasya devakyam yachito abhyagat ajas tvam asya kshemaya vadhaya cha sura dvisam apare vasudevasya devakyam yachito bhyagat ajastvam asya kshemaya vadhaya cha suradvisham apare vasudevasya devakyam yachito bhyagat ajastvam asya kshemaya vadaya cha suradvisham apare vasudevasya devakyam yachito bhyagat ajastvam asya kshemaya vadhaya cha suradvisham apare vasudevasya devakyam yachito bhyagat ajastvam asya kshemaya vadhaya cha suradvisham apare vasudevasya devakyam yachito bhyagat ajastvam asya kshemaya vadhaya cha suradvisham apare vasudevasya devakyam yachito bhyagat ajastvam asya kshemaya vadhaya cha suradvisham apare others vasudevasya of Vasudeva devakyam of Devaki yachitaha being prayed for abhyagat took birth ajaha unborn tvam you are asya of him kshemaya for the good vadhaya for the purpose of killing cha and suradvisham of those who are envious of the demigods. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Others say that since both Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. Kindly repeat after me. Others say that since both Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious
who are envious
of the demigods.
of the
Fourth, it is also said that Vasudeva and Devaki, in their previous birth as Sutapa and Vrishni, underwent a severe type of penance to get the Lord as their son. And as a result of such austerities, the Lord appeared as their son. It is already declared in the Bhagavad Gita that the Lord appears for the welfare of all people of the world and to vanquish the asuras, or the materialistic atheists. Translation again, others say that since both Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take your birth for the welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. So Queen Kunti Devi is, since the last two verses actually is, no, since yesterday's verse, is explaining how different people have different understanding of the Lord. Like yesterday, some say that the unborn is born for the glorification of pious kings, and today she is expressing how others say that because Devaki, Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you, that you have appeared to uh, take birth as their son uh, for their welfare and to kill those. And she will continue in this way to express why the Lord appears. Actually, we know that Krishna, especially, uh, he appears for many reasons, and he does things that have uh, different uh, results, ultimately for the welfare or for the good of all people. That's, of course, explained in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Paritranaya sadhanam vinashaya saduskritam dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Those are the three main reasons why the Lord descends in in the material world, to give his association, to reciprocate actually with sadhus or with his devotees, to annihilate the miscreants or the demons, and some dharma samstapanarthaya, to reestablish the principles of dharma. So here specifically it is mentioned about Vasudeva and Devaki. The Lord is very, he becomes very, obliged. Krishna becomes obliged to his sincere devotees. Not only obliged, but actually to the point of becoming of becoming actually controlled by his devotees, which is especially nicely revealed or demonstrated in his pastimes in Vrindavan. So, um, in many ways, actually, the pastimes in Vrindavan, they very nicely illustrate uh, these three reasons of the Lord's appearance. Because in Vrindavan, he kills different demons that are sent by Kamsa. And he especially in Vrindavan, he exchanges in loving relationships with his devotees. That is the special attraction and special feature of the Vrindavan pastimes. And that is why they are the most attractive as well, because it is actually only in those pastimes of Vrindavan that Krishna reveals to the topmost level all of the different relationships or rasas that are actually existing in the spiritual world. The five primary rasas, as we know, from Shanta rasa up until Madhurya rasa, are nicely displayed in Vrindavan. And he also, not only himself, but with all of the other residents in Vrindavan, and this is something that is maybe a little subtle. Subtle means not so immediately obvious. But Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan are also to demonstrate and show us uh, what is meant to be the, we speak about reestablishing the principles of Dharma. So this is of course, a constant theme. The idea of Dharma, the whole uh, meaning of Dharma, the whole ideology of Dharma, which is also based and intercollected with Tattva. Uh, Words like Dharma, words like Tattva are unknown to materialistic people, but they are, uh, we could say, some of the favorite subject matters. They are meant to be the most important and most attractive subject matters. As a matter of fact, this is especially stressed by Narada Muni when he is speaking to Yudhishthira Maharaj in the seventh canto. Yudhishthira Maharaj, we see this actually throughout the Bhagavatam. Great devotees of the Lord are always eager to hear more, to understand more about things related to Dharma. All of the different exchanges, conversations, questions and answers in the Bhagavatam, whether between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, whether between Vidura and Maitreya, etc. So Narada Muni explains how Smritam Chata Vidam Rajan, Smriti, we as devotees should be alert. We should become more and more alert to understand what is dharma and to know if we are in our daily activities and whatever it is that we are doing, if we are actually in line with dharma, isn't it? Because whenever we deviate, someone just sent a nice excerpt of a purport where Srila Prabhupada elaborates um, the difference between those who are caught up in what is called ugra karma. Modern day society uh, absorbed by uh, activities of ugra karma. Ugra karma means, Prabhupada translates, what is it? What is the meaning of ugra karma? Prabhupada has a nice word for the word ugra. Karma means activity, of course. So ugra means, Prabhupada translates, ferocious activities. Uh, a very, very destructive activities. And specifically in that purport, Prabhupada was telling how, all of these big buildings, skyscraper buildings that we have, all of these big roads that we are, in India in the last few years, they tore down so many banyan trees just to make roads, to make larger roads. Isn't it? They destroyed so much of nature. So much of nature is being destroyed to facilitate our modern way of living, isn't it? We're destroying not only the surface of the earth, but also inside the earth by taking oil, by taking huge amounts of different minerals. And we're creating all kinds of imbalances, so much so that some of the scientists are observing that, the axis of the earth is changing, the movement of the earth is changing. So many things in terms of nature are negatively being affected because of our irresponsible activities. So this is actually going against dharma. So coming back to Vrindavan, so Prabhupada actually was making that point. All of these ugra karma activities are actually creating more and more havoc within society, um, making more and more miserable condition, and the opposite. And people who are of a demoniac mind, they just thrive. They're just, they're happy with these activities, and they're always planning how to make a higher skyscraper building, how to make a new car. I mean, every year new cars are coming, etc. Whereas devotees are more attracted to things that are more simple, more um, connected with nature, etc. So here, of course, uh, yes, um, Vasudeva and Devaki, they prayed for the, for having Krishna as their child. Uh, Krishna became their child, but for a very short time. He, he was transferred from Mathura to Vrindavan, as we know, and all of Krishna's pastimes uh, until he, as a youth, returned to Mathura, were in Vrindavan. So um, this point very important, that Krishna in Vrindavan is revealing so many aspects of dharma, of Sanatan dharma, not only in terms of the very sweet and very profound relationships that he uh, establishes with his devotees, all of the different rasas, but also he is showing us something we have yet to actually uh, comprehend sufficiently. He's showing it. He's showing us, rather, what is a more simple, and natural way of living. And traditionally, that's how villages were. Nowadays, practically, our villages, they have like not super highways, but they have paved roads more and more, right? In villages, when you go to villages now, they want paved roads. Why do they want paved roads? So that buses can come in, isn't it? So that they can more easily go in and out and whatnot. So the original, we can get especially insight on mm, on what is the ideal village by studying uh, by studying Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. And of course, generally, when we think of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, we think of Krishna's, you know, loving exchanges with the gopis in Vrindavan and with Srimati Radharani, which is, of course, um, which is there and which is, in many ways, the most attractive and the most important. But simultaneously, this um, this lifestyle uh, of taking care of the land, taking care of the cows, um, where Krishna has, isn't it, a very Krishna does not only have a personal relationship with the residents of Vrindavan, he has a personal relationship with all of his cows. Each one of his cows has a name. He talks with his cows. You know, his cows are uh, very affectionate because Krishna is very affectionate to his cows. The cows are also very affectionate to him. Um, and cows by nature, actually, because cows are in their next life, they automatically, by the law of nature, um, by the law of evolution, the living entity in a cow's body attains a human body. That's a natural sequence. So it means that actually the makeup, the body of a cow has many features that are close to human, especially in terms of um, of expressing um, loving sentiments. One of our devotees, um, Prabhupada disciple Kurma Rupa, some of you might have heard, he's no longer with us, but for many years he um, had established a nice cow protection program in Vrindavan and had made different videos. One of the short videos he had made was entitled something like Learn to Love by Serving Cows, or Learn to Love by Loving Cows. Because cows are, nowadays we don't see that so much because we don't love our cows. We don't take care of our cows as they are meant to be taken care of. But that reciprocation uh, can be there actually in so many different other animals as well, because it's a natural what is it, the quality of all living entities to be loved and to love, to engage in loving relationship. So because these two personalities, Vasudeva and Devaki, had prayed for the Lord, so he reciprocated by taking birth as their son, uh, and and also um, both in Vrindavan and after leaving Vrindavan to kill those who are, here it mentions, those who are envious of the demigods. Mm. Devotees are sometimes described as, well, there's Asura and Deva, divine and Demanya. So those who are upholding the principles of Dharma, as that's always been the situation, are at odds with those who don't understand the principles of Dharma. So we can, because this was very short um, report, we can go on unless there's some thoughts or questions on this. Yes.
Thank you very much. I like very much your point that he's protecting the Dharma, and the most important example how he's protecting Dharma is shown in Vrindavan.
Mm.
So I immediately started to think which pastime shows the different way how he protected the Dharma in Vrindavan, and show us the example. That's how we should protect the Dharma.
Mm.
So the first was then when Vrindavan Vasis are dharmic person. They follow Dharma, but not the highest Dharma, because they worship Indra.
Mm.
And Krishna shows that that's Kaitava Dharma, to worship Indra. You should worship Govardhan, who is his heart.
Yes.
So that's the first when he shows how to keep the Dharma. Dharma is pure Dharma, not Kaitava Dharma. We should understand.
Yes.
So that's one very important pastimes, how to protect Dharma, as Krishna changed the mind of the worshippers.
Yes.
Also, they are dharmic, but not pure dharmic.
Correct. Yes. And that's the basic instruction that Krishna, the last instruction, Sarva Dharmam Parityajya Mamekam Saranam. That's connected. Yes.
But we have to know who is Govardhan here.
Yes. Yes.
We have to understand the deep identities of different.
Yes.
Follow Krishna's understanding.
When I, in my mind, in the context of Dharma and Vrindavan, what I had in mind especially, I had not thought about this point, which is a nice point. In my mind, the Dharma that I was thinking about was this dimension that we generally think less about, and that has to do with our material Swadharma, and that is connected with, for example, within our material Swadharma, which is Varnashrama, we have the Dharma of actually connected with cows and the land. So there's two important aspects regarding that. One is that Lord Balaram, he carries sometimes a what is it? Sometimes a plow and sometimes mace. Yeah. So of course, in one purport in the 10th canto, Prabhupada explains that the reason Krishna, or rather the reason Balaram has a plow, carries a plow, is that he's in charge of agriculture.
Yeah.
right? He's our founder acharya of agriculture. Whereas Krishna, so Krishna has a flute. And what's the main feature of the flute?
Protect cows.
Huh?
Protect cows.
Not to protect the
To
cows.
play. To play nice.
To please the cows, to make the cows happy by the sound vibration that's coming from the flute. So in other words, Krishi Goraksha, Krishi, the land, agriculture, plow, is in that's Balaram's department. And Goraksha, that's Krishna's department. And actually, dharma, that's an important feature or aspect of dharma. That Krishna, I mean, how many hours a day does he spend in those activities? From morning till late afternoon, isn't it? That's quite a few hours. I think that's more than what our workers. That's more than what most people, most people nowadays. I don't know how many hours a day. People used to work 8 hours.
He takes some rest also.
Yeah. Yes.
That's Indians follow.
Yes.
A little bit after breakfast, a little bit after lunch.
Yes. A little bit before the actual time and a little bit after the actual time that one should return. Yeah. So, so that means that Krishna and Balaram, they spend, I mean, practically the whole day till you know till the cows come back home. There's a nice example, which in reference to the cows coming back in the 10th canto when Krishna had sent Uddhava. Uddhava, who is Krishna's most intimate friend, associate, and Uddhava also looks a lot like Krishna. So much so that actually, when he went to Vrindavan, when he was sent actually by Krishna to bring a letter that he wanted Uddhava to personally read that letter to the gopis because they were feeling so much of separation from Krishna. So it is said that actually Uddhava had arrived the previous day, but nobody knew. Only the next day they came to know. And why? Because he arrived in Vrindavan at that time when the cows return, and the walking the cows makes, what is it, like dust.
Huge dust.
Huh?
Huge dust. Huge amount of dust.
Yes, so much so that nobody could see his chariot when he arrived. So that's a special time of the day, which nowadays we don't experience. We don't see very much. That's only possible when there's a large number of cows, because that was the case before. Like nowadays, it's extremely rare. I saw actually earlier this year when I was in uh, Togo, in Africa, where we have devotees who are developing Gita Nagari project. So they still have. This was naturally in the country, quite in the interior, and it was just like unexpectedly at the place where we were staying. Maybe 200 cows slowly came by walking, and it's just so nice to see so many cows uh, taking their time grazing here and there like that. Yeah, it reminds us of Vrindavan and Krishna's pastimes like that. So this aspect, two things actually, which is very directly and intimately connected with two of the four sciences that make up Vedic culture. the science of education and the science of economics. You know, we as devotees need to know, to understand much more than we do in general, what is actually meant to be. What is the standard in terms of the science of education, number one, and secondly, what is the standard in terms of the science of economics? And that is perfectly displayed, that is perfectly lived and demonstrated in the pastimes of Vrindavan. So, what is the science of economics? I think we know.
Krishi Goraksha Vancha.
Yes. And because we're perfectly following, residents of Vrindavan were very opulent materially, in addition to being opulent spiritually. They were advanced. Yeah. And the science of education, which is displayed in Vrindavan, in the Vedic context, when we speak about education, we think about Gurukul. But there's another level, very important level of education, which is nowadays forgotten, but which is actually fundamental and the basis, in so many ways, of the Vedic culture, and also intimately connected with uh, the science of economics, intimately connected. So Prabhupada explains uh, that Krishna and Balaram, when they take out the small calves, right, from the age of like 6, 7 years of age, with their hundreds and thousands of
earlier, because when they become 6, 7, they take care of the cows. But before that, they take care of the cows.
no, this,
When Krishna becomes 6,
yes,
he was in charge, become in charge of taking care of the cows. And before that, it was so earlier than 6,
so
according to the Krishna book.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just read yesterday. Sorry.
So yeah, I'm not sure exactly at what age, but usually
Yeah, their appearance, they are 1.5 older, 9, 10.
yeah, that's a whole other subject matter also, how Krishna's age and his bodily development is not the usual
Yeah.
from others. But yes, when Krishna is quite young, he looks after the calves. And Prabhupada, in that context, he explains that actually this activity of looking after the calves, where what happens when young boys, because we probably don't have that. Okay, when we young boys look after the calves,
I saw them.
right? When you were a young boy,
Not me, but they are making young boys engage in cow protection
okay,
by taking them out.
yeah, correct, yeah. Actually, cows are not simply meant to be sent out.
No, we go with them.
Yeah, there has to be not just also one or two persons with a stick. There should be, I mean, majority of young boys, that's what they should be doing, you know. And Prabhupada explains that actually when young boys are trained in this way, automatically Prabhupada actually makes the statement that this is actually Vedic education, because they they do so many things that we cannot even think about in terms of, for example, and they learn. This is, it's like, we think of school, you go to school, to some building to learn, but there's other ways, more natural ways of learning. The more natural way, the more Vedic way for those who are especially not like brahmanas or kshatriyas is through these types of activities. Uh, um, just like we say, we have the expression vocational training in modern day society, in our modern world. Vocational training generally refers to people who will learn some particular skill. You know, they will go to some college to learn carpentry or to learn mechanic or whatever. But traditionally, one did not need to go to college to learn that. He would learn it at home in the village from somebody who's already a carpenter, who's already, you know, a weaver or a pot maker, whatever. So, so that's nicely described that when we adopt this more natural way of living, then our life actually, in a very, I mean, naturally becomes simplified. Um, and it's only when our life becomes more simplified that we can begin more easily interact to interact with other people, our peers, to interact with other living entities, including animals, including nature, etc., like that. We develop a different type of consciousness, a more simple, simplified consciousness. And all of this actually is more conducive for developing our higher consciousness in terms of Krishna consciousness. You see. Uh, so yeah, um, for a few more verses that are upcoming, Queen Kunti Devi will refer to other ways in which people think that Krishna, um, why he why he descends and what is the purpose for the Lord's advent. Okay. Yes. Anything? No.
That's other things is that how Krishna protects the Dharma. If we go after Bhakti Thakur's explanation, what does it mean when he kills different demonical persons?
Yes.
That's also to clear the mind of people.
Mm.
And that is the best way, not just saying, don't do that, don't do that. If you are like um, a different type of bad mentalities you have, like King Kalia or the snake, you will become like him. Like he was living in Vrindavan, but he was poisoning all the.
The
So
Jamuna.
he had to be removed. So if you want to stay in a nice, sweet atmosphere, you should change your mentality of being a Kaliya. You should change the mentality of being Agasura.
Yes.
So that's the way Krishna is teaching us how to develop pure consciousness
Yes.
in a very nice, very easy way.
Yes.
Just we have to speak about that happenings.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
And that's an education. When children goes out, they find this kind of animals
Mm.
and they can remember, oh, that's a snake. Oh, they remember that how the snakes are behaving and they relate to them. And
Yes.
they play dramas also outside or
Yes.
in the forest.
Yes. Yes.
And that dramas follow all this what they heard.
Yes.
So that's the best education.
Yes. Yes.
They don't need to sit in the
Behind the
big
desk.
buildings.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
They just have to have a few older person like Balaram. He's other than others, so he's directing them.
Correct. Yes.
Or when Balaram was or Nityananda was in Echo Chakra, he was guiding others,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
that's a perfect way to educate.
That's one of the interesting features of Vedic education is that not only is the teacher teaching, but as soon as, let's say, um, as soon as someone learns, if somebody has been learning different things for, let's say, a period of 1 year, then whatever he has learned, he becomes qualified to teach it to others without necessarily that he is, you know, finished his studies as such. So, in other words, when there is a senior person, then gradually part of Vedic education is that students, while continuing to be students, also teach those who are newcomers. Like we do also in Krishna consciousness. If somebody has been practicing for 1 year, then if somebody is newly coming, then some basic things he can gradually introduce like that, which is a nice.
Madhumanga was really a nice Brahmana of Shastra. So he was explaining to the boys,
Yes.
you should follow that Shastra, you should follow that Shastra. So
Yeah.
they learned Shastra from Madhumanga.
Yeah.
They were
Correct.
laughing, but they remember.
Yes. He was even telling Krishna, "I'm a Brahmana. You have to feed me.
Yeah.
You have to give me more ladus."
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very natural, spontaneous. Yeah. Okay. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai Sri Prabhupada ki. Gaur Premanande.
Very, very good.
We have a scribe.
Maharaj ki jai.